Hey guys, it's Nels. We're back with another episode of Sled Tech. Today we've got brand new 2025 RMKs out here on the snow. We'll go through all the improvements, all the changes, all the cool performance upgrades, and talk about what makes these the best sleds out on the mountain. So with the RMK, the Rocky Mountain King lineup, for 20-25 years, we've talked about instant lift, effortless control, and immediate response. When we go and work on new RMKs or new RMK technology, we always start with those three things. If we're gonna make a change or do something differently, it's gotta make one or two or all three of those things better. It's gotta make the ride better out on the snow. With the Matrix RMK, our teams logged thousands and thousands of hours from development and then all the changes and new models in Matrix RMK since it launched in 2022. And the 2025 lineup and the changes and improvements is really the culmination of all that time out on the snow. Our development team and engineering team is riders. We ride out here all the time, and we want these snowmobiles to be better for our customers and our riders, and that's exactly what the 2025 lineup is. So when we talk about lift control response, one of the biggest drivers for lift and control and response is the weight of the vehicle. Mountain snowmobiling is one of the most rider active dynamic things you can do. You're always throwing the sled around, hanging off to the side, riding it like a rodeo bull. So any weight you can take out of the sled makes the lift better, it gets up on the snow better, it makes it easier to control, takes less effort so you're not as tired at the end of the day, hit more lines. And better response, right? You take weight out, you leave the same power, the power to weight ratio gets better, the sled responds faster, and that's exactly what 2025 is all about. So for 2025, our 9R and Boost, RMK Chaos, and Pro RMK models are up to 7 pounds lighter than they were last year. That snowmobile right there, that's a 9R Pro 155. That sled is 414 pounds dry. That is the lightest mountain sled in the industry. How did we get there? It's a lot of key improvements that not only make the sled lighter, they also improve the experience. When we set out to do some weight reduction, we also wanted to improve the ride experience. An RMK and a mountain sled, you're out all day. It hits your partner out in the backcountry. So being comfortable, confident, and all those little things really add up at the end of the day, and that's what we were set out to do. So we'll kind of go through some of the new parts here on our 9R and Boost Pro and Chaos models. First is an all-new lightweight headlight. So this is a lightweight headlight. It's a LED headlight, kind of similar style to the Axis headlight. It's obviously a new headlight designed for Matrix, all geared around lightweight, and then lighting that makes sense for a mountain sled. The Nightblade headlight, which is on a lot of our trail and crossover snowmobiles and used to be on the RMKs, is a projector style headlight. So it's really geared towards high power down the trail. When you're riding at trail speeds or faster sleds on the trail, that's really helpful. On a mountain sled, if you are ever riding in the dark, it's usually kind of putzing back to the truck at the end of the day on the trail. So what we wanted to do when we built this lightweight headlight is the beam pattern's wider. So it's much more comfortable to ride at, say, 25, 30 miles an hour when you're just riding down the trail, because you don't need that big projection down. You really just want to fill the trail in front of you. That'll be standard on all of our RMK models for 2025. The next one is a really exciting one. That's an all-new throttle system. So again, this along with the headlight will actually be on all of our RMK models for 25. This is a completely new throttle system from really the throttle body cam all the way out. So the way the throttle interacts with the cam, the way the cable ties in, the grease that we use down in the throttle bodies. It's a brand new cable, brand new coated cable that's sealed, a new sealing technique, all new throttle block, throttle flipper design. It's made out of a different material, a completely new throttle system for all day control when you're out on the mountains. Ergonomically, it's going to feel extremely similar. The ergonomics are very, very, very similar to what we've had in the past. The throttle flipper is actually a couple millimeters closer to the handlebar, so a very slightly reduced throw, but where it's going to kind of sit in your hand and your thumb is going to be extremely similar to what we had in the past. We kind of move towards the back of the sled a little bit. The next piece, you can't really see it obviously, but down underneath for our 3.5-inch pitch models is going to be an all new steel drive shaft. So this is a new steel fully welded drive shaft, continuing with the dual extrovert 3.5-inch pitch drivers that we've been running for the last couple years on all of our RMK models. As we keep moving, the next one's our new ProLite seat. So this is a 1-inch lower seat than what we've had in the past, with a new seat pattern too. So it looks fresh, really cool. Obviously some different colored patterns depending on which colored sled you get. All geared around being really easy to move around. The seat priority for a mountain rider is I want to be able to get around it. I don't want it to be in the way. So that's exactly what this seat does. It's easier to do hopovers, easier to move back and forth with that inch lower. It's the same seat shape. It's the same seat base as well, so it sits into the fuel tank the same way, but it's going to be shorter, and it's actually going to feel just a touch narrower as well because of how the seat shape works. The last piece here that's really exciting on 2025 is a brand new running board and suspension pad here on our 155 and 165 models for 9R and Boost. Totally new running board design, significantly lighter, maintaining the strength and rigidity that we've had in RMKs for a long time. The couple key benefits, the first is a new traction pattern. So a new running board kind of traction bar layout, more traction, more comfortable to stand on, especially back here in the rear. All new rear casting and kind of how it ties back into the tunnel. More comfortable when you're riding back in the rear of the running boards, riding faster, going up the hill, things like that. The other really cool piece is this all new 45-degree chamfer that's in the running board along the tunnel. So snow and ice buildup on a running board is really challenging on a mountain sled. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to make a really technical maneuver. You go to put your foot down and there's a chunk of snow there and your foot kind of slides to the side, or you can't quite get it where you'd like. Sometimes, you know, it'll slide your foot off the running board. Like when you're making technical moves in the backcountry, foot position, inch forward, inch back, half inch here, half inch there, makes a huge difference in how the sled reacts. The goal with these running boards was to really allow the rider to put their feet wherever they want at any time, no matter what the snow condition is. This 45-degree shelf here is really key in doing that. So what it does is it eliminates the snow and ice buildup along the kind of corner where the tunnel meets the running board. Obviously the tunnel has the cooler inside, which has coolant running in it. And then so there's heat in the tunnel, the snow is cold. By reducing that spot there where the snow kind of sheds off back down and slides out through these big running board cutouts, it reduces the snow and ice buildup there. And then it actually doesn't allow the more snow to stick. When you get that little bit of snow and ice along the corner where the running board meets the tunnel and it kind of freezes in there, it just attracts more snow. More snow piles on, freezes, and it keeps freezing. So by eliminating it there, it keeps the running board really clear throughout the whole day of riding. The last piece that goes along with these brand new running boards is down here. This is an all new suspension pad. So the suspension pad is this drop bracket right here. All new, a little bit lighter, just as strong as it has been in the past. And then a new feature is it's very serviceable. So if you do have a failure or you have an event where the suspension pad becomes bent in some way, it's easier now to simply replace that piece. It's a one-piece design, replaceable item, and you're back on the snow. Another cool feature that'll actually be on all of our snowmobiles in the 2025 lineup equipped with the 7S display is this all new 5-way switch here. So the old 5-way switch with the top hat, if you will, had a habit of the top hat breaking off when you're swiping the screen off. This is a fully integrated switch. So what that means is the old design was kind of two-piece. A piece came up and then the top hat kind of went in. This just simply comes up, it's rubber overmolded, it's a part of the display. Super, super durable for everything you put your mountain sled through, and really eliminates that issue here on 2025s. Another new piece with 2025 on all of our RMKs is going to be this all-new rail tip design here that you see. So obviously in 2024 for those models, we went to a new rail tip design where it was really an extended high fax up into the front of the rail tip area. And the goal of what we were trying to do was isolate the anti-stab shaft from the rail cap. So on our 2023 and older models, when the rail cap was damaged or hit or broke off, and when you're riding mountain snowmobiles the way a lot of riders do these days, you're hitting a lot of stuff with the front of the track, maybe more than you even realize. And so the rail caps, when they were hit, they would damage or deflect off, and they were tied together with the anti-stab system. They simply put, they shared the same bolt. Our 2024 design, while it did isolate the anti-stab system just like we wanted it to, it's too sensitive to how it's put together, how it's assembled, the track tension around it, etc. So that really drove our update for 2025, where it's a full rail cap And it's quite a bit bigger, as you can see, than what we've had in the past. It's designed specifically for 3.5-inch pitch tracks and bridging that gap between the rods on a bigger 3.5-inch pitch. The other key piece that it does is exactly what I said earlier. It's separated from the anti-stab. So you see the rail cap here. There's this big 10-9 bolt in the middle of it, and that's actually the anti-stab bolt that holds the cross shaft together. It's completely separate from the rail cap. The rail cap wraps around the front of the rail and kind of hooks into the I-beam on both the top and the bottom, and then has another fastener back here, this Torx-headed fastener, that holds the rail cap on. Simply put, that rail cap can come completely off and the anti-stab system stays intact. It's a much more robust design, not nearly as sensitive to things like track tension, and designed specifically for 3.5-inch pitch to really protect the rails and the high facts from any kind of damage or anything going forward. Another key quality update here for 2025 is in the P22 primary clutch. Three big things to talk about here new this year for P22. The first is transitioning to a forged spider. So the spider here for 2024 received a much updated and improved design, and it was a billet spider, so a billet process for 2024. Billet sounds cool, it looks super shiny. It's not a very repeatable process. We actually had to tolerance every one, inspect every one, and make sure they met our specifications. Moving to a forged process is just a better manufacturing process overall. More consistent, more repeatable. Largely the same design, no big design changes, just a much improved process with a fully forged spider for 2025. The second big update here for P22 is a new cover design. So from the outside, the cover looks relatively the same. The changes on the inside, where the primary spring seats into the cover. Previous model years, it had a fairly defined cutout for the primary spring to seat in. For 2025, it has more relief cut into it, so it's got a more gradual radius in the cutout where the spring seats. What that does is it enables that primary spring to move axially just a touch, kind of how it naturally wants to, so reducing the occurrence of broken primary springs in a P22. The last big update for 2025 when we talk P22s is a new bolt. So it's the same material and shape and design as it has been in the past. It's a new heat treat process and then a new coating on the bolt as well. And when it comes to bolted joints and high impact bolts like that, the coating and process in which they're made has a very big impact on how the bolt works and its toughness and durability. So in addition to the new heat treat process, also a new process for rolling the threads on as well. So big durability upgrade there on the bolt, and then the P22 as a whole for 2025. So as you can see for 2025, the best mountain sleds on the snow just get better. Up to 7 pounds lighter, 414 pounds dry. That's 15-20 pounds lighter than anything else in the industry. And really the next level of lift control response, just continuing to push your experience in the backcountry and enable you to do more when you're out riding the terrain you want to. You couple that with some really cool quality updates that are just going to make the experience better, and the 2025 RMKs will continue to set the bar out in the backcountry. That's what we got for today. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.